Welcome to New Mexico Restaurants Now, where we get you the inside scoop on the food scene across New Mexico. This episode is brought to you by New Mexico Restaurant Association's Chef Table sponsors. These businesses provide the most generous level of support to help keep our restaurants protected, informed, and successful. So thank you to Vinnie Keith Foods, the Food Industry Self-Insurance Fund, Heartland Payment Systems, Shamrock Foods, Cisco New Mexico, and U.S. Foods. We wouldn't be here without you. I'm Carol White, CEO of the New Mexico Restaurant Association, and our guest today is Jodie York with Bite of Belgium in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Thanks so much. Welcome, Jodie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. You know, I've been hearing about your restaurant for years, and I'm sorry to say I have not been there yet, but I have heard wonderful things. I know. I had
hard to get down here.
I had restaurants in Las Cruces until 2002, and I think you didn't come in until 2012. So I was already gone.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about the restaurant. Belgium, that's an interesting background. How did you come to that?
The long story short would be we started in 2012 with 23 seats. Our partner at the time was Belgium himself, and him and his wife and Jim, my husband, and I opened it up. And it was my husband has a passion for food. We actually have a technology company that we have had for 40 years now. So this was just his hobby. So that was where the Belgium came from. So we're like a bite of Belgium, because people won't really understand what a Belgium restaurant is. And we didn't want to be a Belgium restaurant. We just wanted to be a different restaurant in Las Cruces. So we started, and then we had all these people waiting out in line. And we was like, we got to expand. So our partners didn't want to expand. So they decided to leave us. So here we are, Jim and I, we're going to celebrate 9 years in October. And we've just been expanding and expanding.
Well, congratulations. That's fabulous. And especially in these, it's been a weird year. And it sounds like you did okay. You
Yes.
got a tent. You're in southern New Mexico, so that's better in the winter, worse in the summer. How did that work out for you?
It's been a godsend for us, actually. So a little bit background, as my customer said, we've been through a fire. So in 2018, we had a fire. A Friday before Mother's Day, and we were booked for Mother's Day. So we were closed from May to August. Then we started, after that, then COVID came. So we're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to make it through all this? And we just fought through it. And Jim, my husband, is amazing about thinking things and seeing things that I can't see. So he's like, well, we're going to do the tent, but we're going to do it right. And we did it right. He planned it out. We actually got an idea. We were at SeaWorld, saw these really cool air conditioning ducts. So we have air conditioning ducts. It's air medical quality. We have about 10 tons of air conditioning and heating. We have fans. We have chandeliers in our tent. We have flowers in our tent. So we really brought the inside out. And we, even at, right where we're really like 50%, we have 100, we can seat 100 people. So we can seat more people in our tent than we can seat in our side of our restaurant, 100%. And now that we're 100% in New Mexico, we've seen that more people want to sit still in our tent. It's very comfortable until the 3 digits come up. And then when it's 3 digits, 105, 106, that's when it's a little bit sketchy. So we're adding another air conditioner unit.
Well, you figure those things out as you go along, right?
Yeah. We invested a lot of money into it, but it's paying off too. And thanks gosh for the PPP. And I heard on some of the other things that you've been doing, people are like, you need a full-time person for the grants. Well, that's what Jim's job does. He does the grants, and he's in charge of the back of the house, and I'm in charge of the front of the house. So together we really work out as a good team. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with me today, but he's still fixing stuff from the awful storm we had last night.
Oh, I saw that.
The tent did survive.
Good. Oh my goodness. I saw that. I saw just the radar of that big glob going across, southern New Mexico and El Paso. And oh my goodness, that was crazy.
Yeah. We were very fortunate. Nothing got broke or maybe one umbrella was damaged, but it was just dirty. So it took about to 10 o'clock this morning to open up the tent, but then we also had the inside open.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your food, because I want people to get a feel for what you serve. And I read, your menu, and I've known this for a while, that you serve the Liège
Liège
waffles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell us about that, because actually give me just a second, because I actually read about this, and I just want to say a Liège waffle is richer, denser, sweeter, and chewier than regular waffle. That sounds absolutely amazing to me. So tell me about that.
Okay, so Liège waffles are a dough-based waffle. They're not a batter base. So a lot of people that come in and for the first time and order the waffles, like, they're so small because they're about this big. I should have had one with me to show you, but a Liège waffle, it's very complex to make, and we have Tammy Montoya that does it all for us. And what we do is we import the sugar that's in the Liège waffles, the pearl-sized sugar that's in the Liège waffle. And so it's dough-based sugar from Belgium. And then we have Belgian waffle irons that are just made for making these waffles. And then what we do is we serve those. And some people say they taste kind of like a donut. Some people say it's a cake like type. And then we make specialty creams that we recommend to have with them rather than serve, because you're biting into these big chunks of sugar. So the cream kind of enhances that sweetness. So they're cream cheese based, they're flavored. We have raspberry, strawberry, blackberry. We have a Bavarian, which is very popular. We have lemon. The Bavarian's a whipped cream cheese base. So people love that. So we either, we sell omelets, breakfast items, so they can have their waffles with their omelets. For the people that don't like waffles, we have corned beef hash. That's a very popular dish. And Jim and I are very, I don't know, the importance of the quality of the food that we serve and its freshness, no cans, we have organic spring mix. We pick out most of our own produce and our meats. So it takes a lot to get that plate out to our guests, but it's the quality of that food. So our home fries are hand cut home fries. They're not frozen. And it's just been a good success for us.
Well, that's fabulous. So tell me a little bit more. What's your favorite in your restaurant? What, like, if you're going to sit down to lunch or dinner, and what are your hours? Are you open at dinner?
So unfortunately, we're not open for dinner. We were open for dinner for a short time in 2018. We had some staffing problems, had a shutdown for that. Then COVID came. So now that COVID's over, well, we hope it's over, I should say.
I know, fingers crossed, yeah.
We want to open up for dinner, but I don't see us doing that for a while. Staffing is a problem. It's a huge problem for us. So for us to be open 7 to 2, 7 days a week, right now, that's all we can do.
Sure. So you do lunch, you do breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch is served every day, 7 to 2. I guess, we make amazing omelets. We've got top 10 omelets in New Mexico a couple of times in the last few years, which I didn't realize till someone pointed out to me. But it's, I guess, really, my favorite is the corned beef hash. I have to say I'm 100% Irish, and I love corned beef, and that's some family favorite, and we make it fresh. You can't find that at most restaurants. It's usually canned. So that's one of my favorites, and then our omelets, and then we also have some delicious salads and sandwiches. A lot of people like our lamb sandwich because you can't find lamb sandwiches in Las Cruces. We make fresh baked bread, our fresh croissants. Some of the items we found that we do features every week, and if those features go well, then we turn it into a menu item. And surprisingly enough, our corned beef, our huevos rancheros, which is it's a ranchero sauce that's very different. It's not the normal red chili. And our green chili stew is very popular too.
That's always the way it is, I
It
mean,
is,
like I had a Japanese restaurant in Las Cruces and,
right?
green chili sushi, green
Mhm.
chili tempura,
Yep. I
yeah.
went to your
And
restaurant very much.
what's that?
I went to your restaurant a lot, so
Oh, well, good,
yeah.
good. Yeah. And, so you got to do it. And it becomes, you put your own twist on it, which is what we do in New Mexico. We put our own twist on things, and we especially put our own twist on our favorite, chilies.
And
So talk.
you have a waffle with that huevos rancheros, or you have a waffle to go with that green chili stew, so you still get the waffle in there.
That's right. It's better than the sopapilla, right?
That's right.
So talk to me about where you are in Las Cruces and how people get to you. Let's take them from El Paso first.
Okay, so we are in the downtown Alameda Depot is what they call us. So we're about 2 blocks away from downtown. And so if you're coming from El Paso, I would say you go down and take the University North Main Street exit, go all the way down to Alameda, take a left and go all the way down to Picacho, or we're on the corner of Picacho and Alameda. And or really it's Van Patten, but we're a block away from Picacho, in which I think been getting a lot of guests off the highway. Thank goodness for Google and the Facebook searches and things like that. That's helped a lot. Um, so if you're coming from Phoenix, you get off the I-25 or I-10 and get off at Avenue de Mesilla, or you get off at Picacho. So in Albuquerque, you would get off at 70.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've got a picture of where you are. You're a little bit in the middle of town. And it's a darling part of town, right there by Main Street, right?
Yes,
And they've done a lot to Main Street since I left. It's beautiful.
it is. And we're about 2 blocks away from Main Street, but we're in the residential part where the old Alameda housing is, and it's gorgeous. I never knew this part of town until we opened our restaurant in 2012, and it's just enhancing. People are buying homes and redoing them. It's really a nice area.
Nice. Well, good. So let's talk a little bit about, we've talked about the food. Um, Tell me about the atmosphere.
So we just want people to be comfortable here. I don't know if you can see in the back of me, there's tapestries. We have tapestries throughout our restaurant inside. And then on the outside with the tent, that's we have the air conditioning and heating and cooling. And then we have the chandeliers, and we have fresh flowers out there that's growing. Um, so the atmosphere is a casual, comfortable, I guess I would say. I want people to come in here and feel relaxed. I want the thing about me, I think, is, and that's what Jim, my husband, and we like good food experiences. We're foodies. We like to go out to have a nice meal and a nice bottle of wine. And so I think the experience all the way from the time you open up and come into the restaurant to the time you leave, I want, our hostess to greet you. I want our servers to be great. I want our food to be consistent. And I think that's a feedback I get from our guests. And we have a lot of regulars, which, it was very comforting during COVID. They would be, a lot of them have my cell phone number, and they call and text me and make sure that we're doing okay and that we are going to come back. And so that was uplifting, because it was a very hard time for everybody, for our staff to say, okay, sorry, we're closing for 3 months, but curbside didn't do so well for us. And we tried delivery, and that just didn't do well at all for us. So we decided in November, we closed down, told our staff, go enjoy the holidays with your family, because we're open every day of the year except for Christmas. So go enjoy it and come back next year, and let's, hit it. Hopefully this will be over and we can open up. And so with the tent being open, it was so nice, but some of our staff never experienced how busy we were pre-COVID. They had just started before COVID. And so they're like, whoa, wow, this is really crazy. And so it was really nice to see that, our business is coming back. It's back to the way it was before COVID.
Well, that's good. And I know, so what are so you closed down, and that was what a lot of folks did during COVID. It's just, you know, takeout doesn't work for us. Curbside really doesn't work. So let's just do what we have to do, and that is close down. Did you get to take any time off during that time, or
Oh, definitely. I mean,
okay,
that's
good.
we have 12 grandchildren. So during that time, we took it to go see kids. And even though we have our other company, Telstar Networks, we still had to take care of that company. But we were able to travel, even though it was COVID. We just drove to see all of our kids and take some time off because it was much needed too.
Well, and then the stress of having a fire and having to get back from that, I mean, I know people who have taken over a year to get back from a fire, just codes, codes enforcement and things like that that had to get taken care of. So you guys did it fairly quickly, but still there's, I mean, tons of stress involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, when COVID came, I was like, what else? I mean, I don't want anything else. Please don't give me go, but I guess that's where I know that we're going to succeed because not only do we have the support from our staff, that's some of the staff still with us since then, and also from the community. We've had great support from our community.
Good. Well, and then staffing, are you getting people to come back? I know it's difficult across the state and across the nation, really. We're having a lot of shortages just because
Yes.
of people not coming back to work. Um, how's that working for you guys? Are you managing to get back other staff as well?
We've gotten our staff, about 70% of our original staff back. However, some staff can't come back because they don't have daycare or they're having issues with that. The problem I'm having, and it's so frustrating to Jim and I, is that you hire people and then they don't show up to work. Or you have 10 interviews and you're lucky if one shows up for the interview. I
Well,
don't
and then I heard
understand that.
actually somebody in Las Cruces told me they hired somebody. They came in, they got, their orientation, they got their uniform, they got everything. They took everything home and then they never showed up again
Mhm.
and didn't bring the uniform back or anything. So, it's like that we don't need, right?
Right. No, I had one of those too, or, oh, I just can't, this is too hard. Like carrying a tray of
Yeah.
food, I don't know. It's unfortunate the way I think the government right now is making it too easy for people to stay home.
Yeah, I know.
And it's been difficult. So, and I don't want to, we have a little bit higher standard. I don't know if higher standards, but we do expect people to come to work on time. I won't let people have cell phones and people don't like that. They think they should have, what's the problem with having a cell phone on you when you're working? I
Yeah.
don't like it
Well,
when I'm at a restaurant, so I don't want it for my guests.
it's a little hard to serve people when you're looking at your cell phone, right? And
Mhm.
it's a different generation. So we're going to have to figure out how to kind of meet them in the middle with something, and I don't know what that is. I haven't figured it
If you
out
figure
yet.
it out, let me
Yeah,
know because
I'll let
I
you know.
need that. That seems like a major problem. And even though when you're interviewing, I'm like, okay, we know cell phones. Are you okay with that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a major problem in our restaurant right now. And just coming to work on time too. I mean, come to work. You're scheduled for 8. That doesn't mean 8:10. I guess I'm a little bit old school too.
Sure.
Uh, Got to be on time.
Well,
So
and it's a generation that again we're going to have to, and I do think that's what the restaurant industry does is, you may come in and out of it at some point, but we teach you those skills, and as a matter of fact, anytime I work with workforce solutions or workforce anything, they're asking us, you know, well, how do you teach those soft skills? And it's just, well, you got to come to work clean and in a clean uniform. You've got to come on time. We're teaching them those soft skills that they don't get anywhere else. And I think almost anybody who's worked in the industry can tell you that it's really um, it's worthwhile because they had to learn those things, right?
right. I knew that's what I think. Actually, I hired 2 16-year-old and a 14-year-old. This 14-year-old that I have now she's amazing, but I'm going to lose them all in August. So I'm frantically looking for people.
Yeah, and I always said, teenagers, you're either responsible from the time you're 5 or you're not responsible at all,
Right,
right? And
right.
so teenagers are fabulous, but they do have school responsibilities too. And
Unfortunately,
the
yes.
good ones, yeah, have really a lot of responsibilities because they're usually getting A's and doing other things at school. So
We
so
even tried the bonus thing. We even
oh yeah.
rather than someone coming in, because we thought that might hinder our staff, we offered our staff $250 if they brought somebody in and they stayed with us for 90 days. And that's not even working out yet. So, we're just trying. We're trying all sorts of things to get our get employees, because we need more employees now too, because we need an additional 10 employees we had prior to COVID.
Because of the tent.
Yes, because of the
Yeah,
10.
because of that space. Yeah. Yeah, that's a new problem too, right? A good
Yeah, it's
problem,
a
but
good, bad problem, but
right.
we also have plans to expand our restaurant. We purchased all of the property here in our parking lot. So we have plans to expand our restaurant for the whole front of the building. I know you haven't been here, but so that's going to be another 2,000 square feet. And now that the liquor laws changed, thank goodness, we will also be installing a bar area so that our guests can sit at the bar and eat and drink if they'd like, and then an additional patio, because we know now how much people enjoy eating outside, as long as you have the environment to keep them cool or warm.
Sure. So do you have a liquor license now? Do you serve beer
Yeah,
and wine?
we serve beer and wine
Okay.
now, and we have our license, our application in for the full alcohol.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
good luck with that. I'm glad to hear of somebody who's doing that because, that was a big deal at the legislature this year is, kind of trying to balance the big liquor licenses with the smaller liquor licenses so people like you could actually serve spirits. So I'm excited to hear and see how that goes.
Yeah, because we were trying to find a liquor license to purchase, and we couldn't even find one to purchase. So that's where that helped out. And I understand the people that have purchased the liquor license, their side of the story, but us this is the perfect thing for us. And, mimosas and also the Sunday sales. I mean,
Sure.
that's great because people would come in and sit at the table from 10 to 11. At the stroke 11, you better have a mimosa on their table, which was wonderful. But it's like, so now that we can serve at 7 o'clock, it's been a good thing. Last week
Oh,
was,
that's fabulous. Yeah. And soon you'll be doing Bloody Marys and
yeah,
other things. So, oh, that's exciting. Good, good.
yeah.
Glad to hear it because I think that'll help you, again, we're just coming out of COVID and I think it's going to take a few years before things get back to normal. It's not going to just happen all at once. And obviously it's not happening all at once, but come September, I hope, we get more staff and then it just snowballs from there. Is there
And
anything
costs
else?
go down.
And
'Cause,
costs
right,
go down. Well, that's true.
that's the
Things
thing
are
is the
costing a
cost.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't changed our menu prices, but we're right now at the point where it's like, oh, we really don't want to raise our menu prices, but we might have to raise them a little bit because of the cost of our supplying ours going up.
No, I think you have to. The restaurant industry has been one of those, we print very expensive menus and then we're unwilling to change prices. Well, for myriad of reasons, because we have, customers that aren't willing to pay more, but also because we printed that very expensive menu. And we've got to get away from that. People are used to paying higher prices when commodities are more. So I think we've got to get used to changing our pricing as well. So I need to know how to get reservations. Do you need reservations?
Reservations are recommended, especially on the weekends, because we do have people wait for us. So they just call our main phone number and they press 1 to make a reservations. And I'll get an email and I'll put you, we use Host Concepts. So what that does, I'll put your reservation in and then it emails you a confirmation of your reservation.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's your phone number. And what is your phone number?
575-527-2743.
Fabulous. And you've got a great website and it's got some just in enchanting wording for all of the food and everything that's there. So it's really good. You guys did a great job on that.
Thank you. And we also have online ordering too.
Okay, great. Great. Is there anything else you want to talk to folks about?
I would just love for someone to, oh, sorry, we have a fly that wants to be all over me. I just like for somebody to come try us. We're unique, we're different. It's a different taste of Las Cruces, I would say. It's a Bite of Belgium, but it's not a Belgian restaurant. That's what Jim's always thinking. Well, people think we're a Belgian restaurant. We're not really, we're a Bite of Belgium, which means the Liège waffles, and something unique.
Wonderful. Well, I can't wait to come try it. And thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Carol, and thanks for all the support that you all have given us throughout all this COVID mess.
Yeah, my pleasure, really. And I also want to thank our generous sponsors, U.S. Foods, Cisco, New Mexico, Shamrock Foods, Heartland Payment Systems, the Food Industry Self-Insurance Fund, and Benny Keith Foods for their annual sponsorship of NMRA and its programs. Visit nmrestaurants.org to learn more about our chef table sponsors and the association. And thanks for tuning in to New Mexico Restaurants Now. You can watch this and other episodes on the New Mexico Restaurants Now YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to the audio podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music.